Shut up.
What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. It is a Thursday evening. We are literally one step closer to the weekend. And for me, that means that we are one step closer to Southern California. Guys, it's going to be a happening. We'll get to there in just a second. This is Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. Welcome, everybody, across all of our platforms. You're joining us on Twitch, X, YouTube. Hope everybody's doing well. Again, I can't stress it enough. The weekend is tomorrow. I know there's going to be a lot of really great wrestling going on all over the United States. Lots of friends competing this weekend. I hope you guys get out and support the independent scene in your neck of the woods. It's going to be a great show tonight, I feel. It's we're doing a double shot today. We were on the air earlier doing some other content. Back for another conversation before we get too deep into the party. As I just mentioned, Southern California, March the 28th. We're right around the corner. It is going to be a fun time with our friends at Millennium Pro Wrestling and Primal Pro Wrestling as we're bringing you Chapter 3, Good Vibrations. Listen to this rundown, guys. It doesn't get better than this. In my opinion, two of the best tag team performers in Southern California, the Brothers Divine and the Pump Line. 2 out of 3 falls in what I'm told could very well be their last encounter. You're going to want to be in the house for this one, and if that wasn't big enough and bad enough for you, Fatal 4-Way action. How about Frankie Flacco from Primal Pro Wrestling, sponsored by No Game Unturned, taking on Jake Mays out of Primal Pro, taking on Jeremiah Fresh out of Millennium Pro and Primal Pro, and what about Miggy Rose? An exciting 4-way dance. It'll be the first time these four have hooked it up in a fatal 4-way affair just like this. And if that wasn't enough, Primal Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Yasin Khan, Michael Hopkins, one-on-one. Oh, and by the way, if the Primal Pro Championship wasn't enough, the winner will secure their spot and be headed to Orlando, Florida for Chapter 4, Legends Rise, and secure a spot to become the first ever CCP podcasting heavyweight champion. The stakes are high for Khan and Hopkins. And again, it's going down on the 28th. That's not all. That's definitely not all. Can't come out to SoCal and not give J2 Mattioli the opportunity to make things right against Skrilla the Great, who is sponsored by our own Goth here at CCP Podcasting. Chapter 2 did not go as planned for J2. We'll see if he can make it right in Southern California. Millennium Pro Wrestling National Championships on the line. Dustin Jack Daniels and Chuck Mercer's in his corner against our own Dallas Dash, and I will be cornering Dallas just to make sure that there are no shenanigans afoot, because we know how Chucky is when he's at ringside. What about the SoCal Pro Heavyweight Champion, Matthias? He's had a year run with that championship. It's not a championship battle, but it is a battle against champions, if you will. Busio, former MPW Heavyweight Champion. Matthias one-on-one for the first time ever. Titles continue to come in as our friends at One Division Pro are sending Rochi Roach, the 1DP Heavyweight Champion, and the number 1 contender to the 1DP title, Phineas Sun, both of them making debuts in LA, as we're going to be there for the Good Vibrations. But that's not it, man. We're kicking things off in a big way. It's a rematch from Black Friday. CJ Tino, Daniel Moon, Part 2, going down on the 28th, and that is going to be at the Millennium Wrestling Academy in Nordhoff, Southern California. Your tickets, they're available at ccppodcasting.com. It's going to be a great weekend filled with fun action with Millennium Pro on a Friday. Our show's that Saturday. We're going to San Diego that Sunday for Primal. We expect to see you guys there, and you're going to have a good time with us. I promise you that. I am getting excited, and as the days progress and as we move forward, each day counts down to when I touch back down in Southern California. I have missed you guys. It is going to be a blast to get there and to be there live and in living color with you guys one more time. Now, let's get to why we are here today. As we are about to get started, we were going to Southern California with our guest today. He just popped his camera off. He'll be back on in just a second. There's the man. We'll get him on right now from Southern California. Welcome to Beyond the Bell Live, Mr. Jorel Diaz. How are you, sir? It's good to have you on. What's going on?
What's going on, man? Thank you for having me on here. I'm excited to talk to you. You know, you ran down that whole card of great workers. You know, a lot of those guys are friends of mine. So it's good to see them getting a shout out and getting some love.
I think
SoCal is very overlooked.
it absolutely is, and I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you there's still about 10 names that haven't been announced yet that are going to be a part of this show. So
Dang,
we
yeah.
ain't done with announcements, but for me, SoCal is it's very special. It's a special place. We've made a lot of really good friends there, and it has turned us on to some really good companies. And of course, with those companies come the tremendous talents that are attached to them. And a lot of these guys just need to be seen in front of the right people at the right time, at the right place. And thankfully, we've been able to build some of that with our audience over the last couple of years, that we have some right people that watch at the right times and at the right places. So the goal is to, get a couple of these guys snatched up, man, because SoCal's got something going on. And I'm excited to have you on. I always love educating myself further within the realm of independent wrestling, and the channel as well over on Twitch. You got Goth is saying, welcome to CCP Podcasting. He's one of our co-hosts. He's over in the Netherlands, so he should be
Oh.
asleep, but he's awake. But nonetheless, let's dive in, man. Let's get started. When I start these conversations off, I don't even consider them interviews, because I really just like to talk and talk to you. And for me, the conversation starts where fandom starts. What drew you into professional wrestling as a fan? What was going on? Some guys it's specific TV. Some guys it's video games. Where do you intersect?
For me, like, I didn't really know the difference. I would watch what was it called, WSCA Masters or something like that. It was a show where they would have like Mortal Kombat type gimmicks, and they would fight on a platform and knock each other off the platform, and the winner, they'd have gimmicks and characters. There was like a Thunderwolf type character, and I was just so immersed in it. And then right after we would come like WCW, and then I remember I would see like The Undertaker and on a WWF show, and I had no idea what any of it was, but it completely just blew me away. And and then Stone Cold Steve Austin came out, and it blew my world, and I started like becoming a huge fan. And then it was, all the kids at school were fans. The Attitude Era was so big, and we'd all just do moves on each other and stuff like that. And then started doing the front yard wrestling. I didn't have a backyard at the time. I had a front yard, so we just have little matches in there. And then we all went to the show, and it was an indie wrestling show at the Anaheim Marketplace back in like 2003. And it was the main event. We had Hardcore Kid, Aaron Aguilera against Kid Chaos. And so I was sitting at the front, like I had like my hand on the guardrail, and I was watching, and he got Irish whipped into me, and I fell down. And then I like did like a kip up, and all the people were like, oh, and like clapped their hands. And after like the promoter came up to me, he's like, hey kid, do you want to be a wrestler? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then I started training Lucha Libre when I was 15. And under Little Cholo, Steve Payne, and a couple of other guys. And then, yeah, that's how I got my start. Started just primarily doing lucha. And then after that, I was good friends with the Young Bucks at the time. And so we would wrestle in the backyard. In their backyard, they had a makeshift ring. Before it was a trampoline, but I met them when they got the ring, and we would just do matches. Like, we would just wrestle around. And yeah, I fell in love with it, and I've been doing it ever since. This is my 22nd year.
2 decades in
Yeah.
the business. So let's backtrack for a minute. So when you go from fandom to even considering trying to get into professional wrestling, walk me through a little bit of the process. Like when you from the kip up on, when they say, hey man, you want to try this?
Yeah.
Like, all right, dope. I'm gonna show up and do this. So when you do show up, what were some of the things that outside of obviously being able to kip up like some of a bitch on the first go around, what were some of the other things that you took to kind of quickly versus some of the things that maybe you had to do a little work on?
I would say like the moves, like I very much was a guy that got the movements. I could 450, like within the first couple months, in the backyard. I was doing it off trash can lids and stuff like that. So getting to do it on a ring was really nice. So I took to that really easily. I had no character, had no selling, did not know how to sell. I go back and I watch those matches now and I just cringe. Like, I'm just like, ugh, that's what I thought was good. Like, we were at the beginning of that, like, AEW style. They went and made that the norm. But at the time, we were the trendsetters doing the style, and all the older guys in SoCal were characters. And Adam Pearce would be like, "What the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, why are you taking a reverse Rana and then selling into a Code Red? Like both of those are finishers, but that's a 2 count now."
Well, it's the same can be said. We can go back a little further than that, man. Like the DDT. Let's start with
Yeah,
that.
right.
Like such a great finish back in the day with Jake Roberts. To see it being a transitional spot at this point, it's kind of disheartening for the old school in me. And then you can even take it to the super kick.
Of
Like,
course. Yeah.
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 And I'll even go for the Canadian Destroyer. Do you remember when
Yeah.
Pee Wee Williams would hit a destroyer and that was it? There was
That was
no
it.
there was no getting up. It was ball fucking game. And now
Yep.
it's like I think there's a game amongst the scene is who can hit the craziest destroyer. I think it's now
Right.
a fucking game. And it's just kind of like
Yeah.
some of the stuff is so crazy. It's like when I was wrestling, I got into it in '99, and
Okay.
I used to get and not like I tell people, I was never the biggest name by any means. Like I was an indie guy, and I just had a little bit of following.
Yeah.
But when I would get into like locker rooms and guys, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Nope. We're going to listen to the crowd, and the crowd's going to tell
Yeah.
us what we're going to do. And
That's great.
if it fits into what I'm reading from the room, no problem. But I'm not
Yeah.
just going to go and do something just because it looks cool. Like,
Right.
I need to, it's got to make sense. The psychology behind it's got to make sense. And to be perfectly fair, it's kind of a reason why I don't watch a lot of mainstream wrestling now. That's why I stick to the
Right.
independent scenes. And not to say that some of that doesn't go on the indie scene. It does. I'm not guys, if you're out there, don't fucking, shoot the messenger. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that it doesn't go on out there now. What I am saying is that, like, with what I'm watching, I don't see a lot of it. I see a lot of really good wrestling, but it is out there. It is prevalent, and it is something that does happen. And it's just interesting that we used to have a DDT that won matches. And now
Yeah.
it's like, unless your name's Tim Dynamite, that doesn't happen now. Dynamite
Right.
wrestles up north, man. So 20 years getting involved in this thing. I mean, you've had to have had a lot of really interesting runs and rides, and odds and ends. And character for me is something that I want to talk about for a minute, because I've talked to guys who have had a lot of experience just like yourself, but I'm always interested to know about the evolution of your overall character from where you started to kind of like where you are now, and to see how you've evolved. Walk me through a little bit of what was Jorel Diaz, or the incarnations of, and then to what we see now.
So, I mean, I would say my first debut, I really wanted to be John Cena. So, like, I came out like Jersey wanting to be John Cena. That was like phase one. And then I became more of like a directionless kind of heel. Um, would just kind of do some cool, flashy stuff here and there. And then I became Marcus Riot. That was the gimmick that I had the most success with early on. That was like I really wanted to be Jack Evans. That's really what it was. And we even did something on WSX because I was on WSX with Jack. We ended up wrestling on that show, but I was his stan. So like we did like this whole segment where I was like, I made this mixtape for you, bro. Like you're my inspiration, my hero. And then he's like, oh, you need to learn to always watch your back. And then he kicked me in the nuts. And that was like our segment on MTV. And then we wrestled, right? And then so that was what I wanted to be. And then I had kind of a run with this guy Gary App, who, as much as he helped me, had a controversial name in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that run was kind of done, I separated myself and I became the vegan Superman. And I essentially, it's just a character that comes out and talks shit to people for eating meat. And I had a lot of success with that because people really, really got upset. I mean, and I live in California. So, like, I can imagine if I had done it in Texas and whatnot. I mean, the closest was like Arizona or Vegas, but Texas, I'm sure they would have gone apeshit for you know, taking a steak and throwing it on the ground or something.
Well, that is abuse in some semblances there. Not mine. I don't eat steak anymore. I can't eat red meat.
Okay.
I have to fucking eat chicken and fish.
There you go.
Now
You get it. Yeah.
Dude, I ain't been in the ring in 20 years, and I'm jumping back in September. So I've got to drop. I've dropped almost 20 pounds since January, and
Hell yeah.
I haven't done it. I'm scared shitless. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't done this shit in 20 years, man. And I'm dreading the first bump. I'm dreading getting in there and running the ropes again. But it's happening, and it's just something that's going to be interesting to see if
out here.
To be determined.
Okay. Well, if you're out here, let me know. I'll come. I'll come support.
To be determined.
Okay.
There's several ideas have been pitched, and I just don't know if first of all, let me say this: I don't know if I'm even going to do it. Because I know that there are going to be people that are going to be watching this. They're going to be like, no. There are ideas that have been floated out.
Yeah,
and there are things that have been discussed, but nothing is in concrete plans. I am just trying to get in shape to see if this is something that I do want to try and do again.
Right.
No, with
made you?
What's that now?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask what made you step out? What made you stop wrestling?
I mean, to be fair, I don't have a problem talking about it. I talk about it all the time. I fell into the dark side of professional wrestling. And got into drugs and got into drinking heavily, and
totally get it.
At the end of the day, I woke up in a hotel. I had 3 guys I was traveling with. I woke up on an overdose, and I was by myself.
Shit, dude.
So I walked away from it, and I didn't. And this is kind of why this platform is really special to me. When I walked away, I had no intentions of ever doing anything in wrestling again, ever. Yeah, because it's a trigger. It's just it's a thing. I straightened my shit up. It took, I was in my early 20s at that point. I didn't really clean myself up 100% until I was in my early 30s. I tell people I haven't been an adult. I started adulting at 32. So I've been an adult for 11 years. But I fell into that trap and couldn't really get out, and had to hit rock bottom to realize that this is not the road I need to go down. Now, I don't say that to anybody for a pity party or anything of that nature. I overdosed, and I shouldn't be sitting here. Right. And on more than one occasion. So I understand and I get it. But it's just, when I walked away, it took time. I cleaned myself up. And then when this platform started, we weren't doing indies. We weren't doing anything related to. I was watching old WWF stuff on a stream, just watching the old school shit, territory wrestling. Right. Back in my time when I, was diving deeper into my fandom, it took me back to my childhood. So I'd watch a lot of that. And I had 2 guys that were watching with us, and they weren't really into it and wanted to do something else, and it was something that I wasn't really into. Like I'm into professional wrestling. My fandom never stopped. I just knew that it wasn't for me right then at that point in time in my life, right? So when they pivoted and moved on to the content they wanted to do, I started looking at independent wrestling. And it was because a friend of mine was pushing me towards it. But they knew the story. They knew what was up. And for me, even in the early inceptions, watching it was a trigger. It'd be like,
Right.
like, because I could only help but to think about some of the negative things that had happened and the negative stuff that, mentally scars me. So it's just kind
Yeah.
of like, man, do I really want to do this?
I totally get you, man. I had a lot of the same issues. It's just it can be a trigger, and I've had to learn to go to shows and just appreciate it for what it is. I mean, there's so many people that can't even be there without taking a drink or something.
Well,
So I
here's the thing. Like and this is where I tell people all the time, even like I have private conversations with people who are
yeah.
going through shit. I always tell people, listen, shit ain't fucking easy. And if you want to do it, you're going to do it. If you do
Mhm.
not, you will not. And I'm always there to help people and I'm always there to listen, but I'm also that dude, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not
Right.
easy. It's not a
No,
hard.
it's not.
It's not. It's not something that you can overcome. It's not something that. And I'll take it a step further, man. I was hooked on cocaine and crack, man, for
Uh,
literally 3 years of my 6 year run. I barely fucking remember. It
yeah.
was just one of those things, and I don't regret it at all because everything that happened and all the trials and tribulations and hitting rock bottom and
Yeah.
having to pick yourself back up, man, it's made me who I am today. And who I am
100.
today is somebody that do I make all the right decisions? Nah, I don't.
Mhm.
Do I still make mistakes? Absolutely. But I have learned how to deal with things and how to deal with triggering situations to where it doesn't affect me anymore. I can sit around people and they can drink all the fuck they want to. They can do whatever we can do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. Fun fact: there's a bottle here that my audience think is liquor. It's apple juice. It's been
Okay.
apple juice for fucking 9 months. I
Yeah.
don't even drink it anymore. Like
Right.
it's just like one of those things. It's a prop, but I'm
Right.
comfortable with that. Not some people
Yeah.
may not be. I'm comfortable with talking people if they're on a ledge or if they're got some shit going on. Like I'm cool to be that dude, but I will keep it real and I keep it 100. But the platform, and I'm sorry, that's a long answer, but that's not something
No,
that
it's
I can just
fine.
gloss over and say, oh man, it was this situation. No, there's reasons for it. And when
Yeah.
when the platform started to hit, I didn't expect to be welcomed. I
Right.
expect to have to pay the dues just like everybody else did, but I was actually smart. I was smarter than most people. When I started doing this, like I started internationally. I didn't look at
Okay.
anything in the States to begin with because everybody's looking at the States. Not
Right.
everybody's looking internationally.
Hmm.
So we started making the friends abroad. And then those friends abroad turned into friends here in the States. And then obviously now here we are. But again,
Yeah.
it's still something that to me, I truly think that we're as successful as we are is because all of my co-hosts are the same. We're not here to lie. We're not fake at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You could go overseas to see Goth and see Paul, and they fucking would be the same way like they are when they're on a stream. Like there's no curtain, dude.
Right.
If you come check us out when we're in Southern California and you meet me in person, I'm gonna be the same fucking guy that you're talking to right now. It's
Right.
just who I am. The only thing fake about me, and I'll be perfectly honest, is the name on the screen. That is not the shoot name, brother. That was the work name.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
it. Everything else is just an open book. Sorry about that. But that is what took me out. And now this is
Yeah.
what's also bringing me back at the same time, in the same token. To be able to, I don't know, brother, get hundreds of DMs a week just from people saying thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking 90 minutes and watching my stuff. people popping in on streams. People like, I want to come and talk to you now.
Yeah.
What? You know what I mean? It's like,
That's yeah,
really?
yeah.
Like me? I'm just a dude.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's where we're at, man. And I'm sorry. Again, that was a long answer to your question, but it comes in layers, brother.
No, I get it. It's one of those things that's so like important is learning how to navigate those kind of distractions because it's taken so many of us out, whether it's acting or music or wrestling. I mean, it gets us all that depression, the isolation, performing in front of a bunch of people and then going back and being by yourself, or like it's tough. And I try to do that a lot out here in SoCal. Like, people don't know how to make connections. Like, no one, when you graduate, they go, good luck. And I go, hey man, I know this kid, he will fit well for your company. And I do that for like 7, 8 different promotions out here, to the point where I've become like a co-booker, and I help these places out. And I help like manage all these kids out here because they don't really know how to socialize. Like, nobody tells them to go and network. They're waiting in their room for a DM from Paul Levesque to be like, hey man, you want to have a tryout with us? And like, that's never going to happen. But people don't know, and they just waste away, and they get frustrated and they leave, and they should leave SoCal, but not the business. They should go and see other places,
Well,
but they don't.
I think people should. I mean, education is key, right? And
Mhm.
and one thing I tell all the kids that come on the show is that for me, if I had as much out there at the disposal, as far as training and places to go, and how literally, one you could go to, let's just say Texas as an example. I'll say New Texas Pro. You can go train at New Texas Pro for 3 to 6 months. You can go to
Yeah.
to Reality of Wrestling and train for another 3 to 6 months. You can come to Florida and train at the House of Champions for 3 to 6 months. You can go to
Yeah.
Firestarter and train under LeBron Cozone for 3 to 6. There's so much out there, and
Yeah.
everybody trains a little differently, and you pick
Right.
up stuff fucking everywhere. The
Yeah.
learning never stops with professional wrestling. And that is where, the success really lies. Those who really get there and make it are making it. And that's a piece of it, is because they're
Right.
continuing their education.
Yeah. 100%. And you can only learn so much staying here, even though we are blessed here in SoCal that we learn American, we learn lucha, we learn how to do strong style. I mean, we have New Japan out here. There's so many different styles of wrestling here in SoCal that people tend to coast. No one wants to go and go to Nightmare Academy, or go to House of Glory. Like, why aren't they doing that? Like you said, like, they should be branching out and going to Reality of Wrestling, where not too many people here are doing that, other than like Danny Limelight. Like, that dude's killing it. He's going all over the place. And that's the thing. If you look over the last 20 years, who's come from SoCal? Willie Mack, the Bucks, a canceled guy like Joey Ryan. Like, there's not like a bunch of people that have made it.
Well, I also
So
think that there's several out there on the scene now that are on the cusp of. I think someone like Jake
yeah.
Redondo is about to break
Oh, heck
through.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the world of that guy. I think that he's
Great.
tremendously talented, and keep in mind, I'm dipping my toe in the scene. Like, I'm a Millennium guy, and I'm a Primal guy to my
Yeah.
heart. Like, those cats are the first ones in the state to say, "Hey, man, I got you. Come on, brother. Come on." And yeah, so I'm big into those cats. I think Draven Silvera is another one that's out there on the scene that's young, that has got,
Yeah.
give him another 3 and some quality reps, and he's one that's
Yep.
going to be out there, that's going to be on the scene. Now, Frankie Flacco is another one that comes to mind out of Primal. He's another kid
Yeah.
that there's something there. There's some potential there.
Right.
So who are some people out on the scene that in SoCal that you think could make it out there from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the trenches working with these guys a lot. So like guys like Chaz Price, 5 star Raymond Bright, Joey Lancaster, you said Jake Redondo, um, Ezekiel Flores, uh, Oscar Felix. I mean, there's just so many good guys out there right now that are working at high levels. Like Charming Crescenzo, a guy who's got 12 years in. He's 27. You know, he's like our Dolph Ziggler. The guy can bump like crazy, but cannot network. You know, he's stuck in his own bubble, and you can only get people out so much unless they know how to talk to people themselves. That's why like guys like Primal is teaching their guys so well at networking. You know,
Mhm.
that's why you're seeing them get around. Like they are good friends of mine. I love Charlie, J2. All those guys are Antonio, like they're all really good people with good heads on their shoulders. So you see those results.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you see that in a lot of different places, to be fair. I
Mhm.
think that as long as the heads and the hearts are in the right place, I think you're going to see a lot more success. I truly
Yeah.
do. I try and find the best in every situation. So like even when I'm watching something, it may not be the cleanest fucking match. It may be,
Yeah.
it could be awful, but I mean, I'm gonna find that one or two things that stand out in a positive. And if somebody makes a mistake, man, I have to call the mistake. But I'm gonna see
Right.
how quick did you correct, how fast you get the crowd back, how fast did you go on track, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I say that, and I
Right.
want to circle back around to something because you did mention a name that is on my radar, hardcore on my radar, and that is Raymond Bright. I have
Yep.
seen a lot of his stuff, and I think that kid has got it.
Mhm.
He's literally just waiting for the right moment to break the fuck out. How did you cross paths with Raymond?
He came out here and was looking to get some reps in. He's trained by Amazing Red, who's an old friend of mine. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to get some reps in." We used him about a year ago at some random park show. He did a good job. And then when we started actually running, I'm the co-owner of Valley Wrestling Connection, and we started using him regularly. And he caught on. I was helping with Dream Slam. I brought him in there. He started doing a great job. Everywhere that I kind of opened the door for him, he went in and slayed it, killed it. Took the bus there if he needed to. You know, he's not a stickler for like getting paid $1 billion. He does it for the passion. You know, the money will come later.
Mhm.
Like you got to get the reps in right now, and he's getting those reps like all over the place.
He's doing well. He's doing well for himself. He's on my radar, for sure. Um,
Yeah,
let's go back to. I'm sorry. Let's go back to you a little bit and a little bit about what you've taken
yeah,
care of and what you're doing, and where you're at now. You just said that you're co-owner of a company out there. So let's chat a little bit
yep.
about that. What made you want to put something together yourself?
I made a friend out here. He was looking to start his own company, and I have a lot of untapped resources. You know, I had 22 years of making friends, and I said, you know what, I'm down to help you. He ended up getting a ring, and we started running our own school, running our own shows. And for the last couple of years, we've just been doing that, just trying to do shows as often as possible. We've had EC3 defend the NWA Heavyweight Championship against Honest John. We've had EC3 on our show, Santana Jackson. What is Microman, like Matt Riddle, like a lot of different people that have come in, and it's been a real blast. Like I've had to learn to. Like you don't want to be running your own promotion and booking yourself in marquee matches. So for a lot of the time, I've only been a manager or a commentator. I took quite a while off of wrestling, and so I was mostly kind of focusing on that. But I think I got bit by the bug again, and it just drew me back in because now I'm just wrestling again all of a sudden. So,
Well,
but
it's crazy. My
it's a fun
mom,
experience.
my mom sent me a text and said something about Southern California and the show that we're doing out there, and I went, "Oh yeah, yeah." Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, I'm wrestling again in September, and her response to that was no, and I was like, "Wait, why?" She's like, She's like, "Are you crazy?" I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm your kid. What do you
Yeah.
what do you think?" Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I want to dig a little deeper into the actual company side of the equation because, like for me, that's kind of crucial and critical because it's providing another place for people to work at the end of the day. And I'm a firm believer that the more places there are for people to work and get reps in, as long as they're quality and reputable, then I'm all for it. So chat me up a little bit about where are you running out of, like where can we find you if the is there YouTube available, YouTube channel, like where can we find the stuff for the company?
Yeah, just on Instagram, it's VWC Ignite. We've got a bunch of like our promo packages on there. We've got matches. We got a YouTube. You could find a lot of the matches. They've been kind of like condensed. Uh, our our champion is John, but he also does a lot of editing for us. He's also like helps me train the classes.
Mhm.
So we wear a lot of hats.
I
It's
understand.
like the three of us kind of doing everything. So yeah, it's if you go on the YouTube, a lot of the matches are on there. They're condensed, so it's just a lot of the highlights. But we run out of our school right now. We have our own building in Wildemar.
Mhm.
It's about like an hour south of San Diego,
Okay.
and yeah, and no, it's pretty cool. We run classes out of there. Right now, it's just once a week. We do an open ring. We were doing like 4 days a week, but this area is just kind of a hard sell. I think it's kind of like the middle of nowhere, unfortunately. So the students that we have are very loyal. So over the last year, we've just been trying to inch them closer to get in the ring, but with the 1 week, the one training a week, it's been a little hard, you know?
Well, I mean, I can understand. We trained 3 to 4 days a week back, and that was a 99. But also keep in
Yeah.
mind, I started with like 13 or 14 people, and 2 or 3 finished. Me plus 2, so 3 total finished
Oh, yeah.
the entire thing. Yeah, dude, it was rough. It was old school, brother. It was old school training, old school mentality.
No,
Um,
100%. Yeah.
well,
After, go ahead.
I was about to say you were just mentioning that you took some time off, but then you kind of got bit by that bug again, and you got back into the
Yeah.
ring. So yeah, I was gonna kind of pivot a little bit to your return, if you will. Like what's going on with that? What led to it, and what you got going on with it?
Yeah, I had just kind of really enjoyed being a manager and commentator. I feel like it gave me like a different perspective into the business. Like I said before, I was a lot more of a spot guy, more of a spot monkey. And I really just learned to kind of give a reason why everything is happening as a manager. And so I thought if I went back to wrestling, I could be a lot better than I ever was and protect my body in ways. Like now I'll have a good match and I don't do the crazy bumps, but I still can provide the quality. So that makes me feel good. And it really started with just I wrestled Matt Riddle at a birthday party and we had a lot of fun.
Why do I think I saw a clip out
Oh, of him
there?
giving me a RKO into a pool because that was me.
Sounds
Yeah,
about fucking
yeah,
right. I do remember that. I remember that. Listen, so like I remember that there were a lot of people that were shitting on that. And I just want to
oh,
say
they
that
were.
I want to say
Yeah.
this, and this is what bottom line, that wrestling is entertainment.
It
That's what
is.
this
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
If you weren't entertained by a wrestling match at a birthday party, first of all, how often does that fucking happen? Number
Right.
one. Number
Yeah.
two, with someone like as accomplished as Riddle. I know Riddle got a lot of heat for that. Like got a lot of
He
negative
did. Yeah.
publicity for that. I don't give a fuck. That
Yeah.
would have been fun and different, and I would have
Yeah.
probably done it too.
Yeah, it fucking changed. It changed that the guy's life. It was a special needs birthday party. You know, it's not like he did it for a hot dog and a handshake, dude. They paid his rate, to go. And I don't know. It was a blast. Like I picked him up and I just tested the waters. I was like, "Are you down to wrestle?" Because it was supposed to be like just showing up, but he was
Mhm.
like, "I'm down to wrestle." I was like, if you want to wrestle me. And he was like, you? Hell yeah, we could wrestle. And I was like, well, then we're going to wrestle then, I guess. And then that was how it kind of started again. And then I started teaching and training the students. And I just, it feels good, man. There's just nothing like it. Yeah, it's managing is close, but it's not the same.
No, man. I'm gonna tell you when I and this is just it. Like with with our live events, I was never gonna get into the ring. I was gonna, I would bet ringside, if you will, to do stuff because again, I was not. I don't know if I didn't know if I was ready for it.
Yeah.
So when I stepped in the ring in November for the first time, like I even went back and watched it, and I was like, "There's a moment where I almost turned around and said, nah, nah."
Yeah.
But what was crazy about it is when I got in the ring, you got to think the last time I was in the ring, I was getting booed by 800 or 900 people, and
Right.
all of a sudden people are cheering, and it took a second. Then I was a deer in headlights. And I was like,
Yeah.
wait, now you're cheering. What do I do here? So over the course of your career, and I say that because I would imagine that you've kind of played both sides of the fence. I would imagine you've been a baby face. I would imagine you've been a heel at some point. 20 years
Yeah.
in the game, you'd have to flip flop somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Do you prefer being the baby face? Do you prefer being the heel, and why?
Okay, so I like both. I'll say that being a heel is definitely my preference though, because I am such a nice person in real life. I mean, I've gotten it like for so long. Like I'm the guy like in my companies, I'm like the morale guy. Like people I talk to people, I help with their needs and facilitate that with the promoter because I'm a lot better at interpersonal relationships and conversations and having empathy. And a lot of these guys just, for whatever reason, they just have no empathy for people. And so that's where I kind of come in. And so like I have that good guy in nature that I find it a lot easier to just play the opposite. Like just be the biggest douchebag piece of crap ever. Like, smacking candy out of babies' hands like as much as possible so people can get that out of their system. I heard someone say that heels, you never know who is in the crowd and they're like having a bad day and they're going to go home and take it out on their family, but instead they see you and they take all of that out on you, and then maybe they go home and they're too tired. They're like, oh, I got it out of my system. I'm going to be nice to my family today, and we provide that way of relief for people, and I've just always really enjoyed that.
I was always a heel.
Yeah.
I was a baby for the first 8 months, and then I was like, nah, this isn't me. This isn't. No,
Mhm.
I can't do that. Like I have a mouth, and
No.
I know how to use it. And I know how to talk, and that was
Right.
like one of my stronger suits. So I was like, y'all should just put the fucking microphone in my hand and let me go to work, and I will
Yep.
talk somebody into the building that wants to watch me get my ass kicked. And I loved playing the chicken shit heel too. I was that
Yep.
dude that would, if I didn't feel it and I didn't feel like we had them and them being the crowd, I would go out of my way. I would eventually I would call what I would do the chicken spot, where I would run into
Yeah.
I would jump the barrier and I'd run into the crowd. I would do whatever I needed to do for however long, and then when I slipped on that banana peel, we usually had them. But
Yep.
like that, I had no problems in that. But there were guys back in my day that were like, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be, everybody wanted to be the Austin, the Austin
Yeah.
heel, the cool heel. I was like, what happened
Right.
to whatever happened to the legitimate, just don't fucking care about
Right.
the getting of that positive reaction. And like, there's an example. When I was a heel, I didn't sell merchandise. Refused. Wouldn't do
Makes
it.
sense. Yeah.
Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't take pictures at shows. Wouldn't take no. I don't get paid for that.
Yeah.
So no, sir. You go, put
That.
some money in my hand. We'll talk about it. So I can resonate with that. I just love the and being the lead really, because at least that way too. On the other side, I'm not gonna lie, there's a control factor because
Right.
my time heels called the matches, so I would be able to dictate the pace. So if I had a whippersnapper that wanted to go do 900 million things that didn't make sense, I could be like, nope, not
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Because psychology is big for me. Like I think building a match and really tuning into the crowd that's there is what is it can really make or break. When it comes to psychology for you, where does that rank, and what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think honestly, like, if you had talked to me 20 years ago, it would be low, right? Or maybe I would have told you it was high, but I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was, right? So now, 10 out of 10. Like, it's so important. It's like a lot of people are so anxious for their match to be over because they don't want to forget all their spots that they don't even enjoy it. Like, it's over and they're just like, thank God I got through that. But it's like the fun is being in it. Like it's listening to the crowd, and that's what I wish I could do more. But it's really hard to do that in Southern California, because a lot of guys really want to call all their stuff. So it is like it's necessary to be a heel as a vet to be able to get that kind of match across.
Which makes sense. I totally get it. I understand. I'm one of those cats that I'm just old school at heart.
Hell yeah,
Give me the old storytelling. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can do some of the flashy stuff, and some flashy stuff does work. And if you do
yeah,
it and you do it well and you place it well, like it, yeah, it's like, again, if it makes sense, I'm all for it. But if it doesn't make sense, like I'm just like, man, it's like in the real world too. Like my, I think my bosses don't like me because I'm that guy. I'm a supervisor in the real world, and I'm like, that just doesn't make fucking sense.
no,
If you want me to tell my guys to get this A, B, C, and D, but your logic behind it is crap. You need to explain that to me, because if I
yeah,
don't get it, I ain't doing it. If I get it,
right,
then I understand, and all right, cool, we'll figure
yeah,
it out. But just to, yeah, you give me some logic behind it. And I'm the same way with wrestling. As long as it's
yeah,
logical, I'm for it. I can make it work. I can do what I need to
right.
do with it. Uh, So over the course of your career, give me again 20 years, and include even opening up and running the school that you got going on. What are some of your personal highlights? What are some things that really stand out to you?
Ooh, let's see. That's there's so many things. Like I would say, like I had a moment where I hit rock bottom. I had just had my child and everything, and my son's mom and I split up, and I went to a show and I wrestled, and we had like a 25-minute match. I was like 250 pounds, just overweight and fat. And at the end of the match, they picked my hand up and I projectile vomited into the ring.
Hmm.
Just absolutely gross, right? Like, and I got made fun of. They took pictures, they just clowned me, and I lost like 50 pounds, came back with and won the XRT championship at this big company, over Leo Rush.
Uh,
So that was like a huge moment, a huge like affirming moment that I was better than I was letting myself be, and then of course like getting the school off the ground where we were able to do that championship match was with EC3 defending the NWA championship in the first time ever in this area, like in history, was like a really big accomplishment for us, And then of course wrestling Matt Riddle, like at that birthday party, it was just such a blast because I thought he was going to have a big ego about what to take, and he was so generous and kept, what you want to do this, you want to do that, and I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, you want me to do that, then sure, yeah.
yeah.
And it made, it is meeting your heroes sometimes can be really cool, and I've gotten to work a lot of people that I admire, like Paul London and Brian Kendrick and all these guys that I've been able to turn my life around and be a person that helps people instead of a person where they look at that name and they're like, oh, you know, based on my past.
Hmm. Well, I
So
mean, I
that's my
think,
biggest.
I think
Yeah.
everybody has a past, and
Hmm.
I'm a very non-judgmental person because, like I said, I make mistakes every day.
Yeah.
I what I do is I treat people as they treat me. If someone is respectful and they're good to me, I'm going to be respectful and I'm going to be good to them
Yep.
until I'm given reason not to. And then if I'm given that reason not to, well, I listen the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just telling you, this
Makes
is
sense.
this is how I am, brother. This is how I am in real life. My husband will tell you that. We've been married 10 years yesterday. He'll tell you
Okay.
that. I've been that way the day that he met me. He's like, "What?"
And
Like, yeah, bro, I
yeah.
don't have time to play, play games.
Yeah.
So, I just would rather be honest with people. And at least that way, even today, like, I know that we're not liked by everybody. I know there are
Yeah.
platforms out there that don't like us. And do I care? No.
Nope.
But, hey, do I
That's
give
good.
it any thought? No. Do I get people who come in and try and be negative? Yeah, but you know, it to me it says a lot more about them to take the time to come in if we're doing a live show or if I'm whatever on social media or whatever. It takes more time for you to draft a response or draft a fucking statement of negativity to put it
Yeah.
out there. Then I'm not gonna acknowledge it. I don't have time for it. I don't.
Right.
I would rather keep things positive. I think that there's enough negativity out there, but
Oh, for
also too,
sure.
like I also know that can also be like a veil because people will take advantage. It's happened in the past. It'll happen in the future, and I'm aware of that
Yep.
too. It's a risk that you take when you get into things, right? Like that's just the nature of the game. It's how this works.
100%.
Uh, you
Just
know,
just like
go ahead.
just like when you help people, like a lot of people give up helping people and become jaded because they let those people in and they burn their bridges. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten someone booked and they've politicked to get me unbooked. And I bring you into my place and you ruin it for me. But that doesn't mean that I'm ever gonna stop helping people, because then I'm gonna lose myself for somebody else. If I lose a couple opportunities for helping people, then I then I lose it, right?
I think this, like, when it comes to that, it comes to like opportunities and stuff of that nature. So, like, I never thought I'd ever be in the position that I'm in now. I just never, in a million years. I didn't think that I'd have people internationally saying, "Hey, where can you put me in touch with? Who can you put me in touch with? What can you do here? What can you do here? Who do you know here?" I didn't realize that I'd have people from the States. Hey, who can you connect us with? That's what we do. And I tell
Oh yeah.
people, the guys that come to our live events, like I'm very specific about a lot of this, especially with who I book and where I book and when I
Yeah.
book them. Like J2, I'll use him as an example. Like I know that he's real heavy into Primal Pro Wrestling. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't I bring him if he wants to come out and wrestle in a couple of places? He may see somebody he likes. And if he
Yeah.
does, when we come out to California, it's already happening with my guy Dallas Dash. He's not only
Yeah.
working with us on Saturday, he's working with Millennium on Friday, he's working with Primal on Sunday. So
Yeah.
brother got himself 2 additional reps because he was seen on one of our shows.
Yeah.
Like my bigger goal is to put people in locker rooms with other guys who are reputable that run companies or book or whatever so that you can network. And it's
Yeah.
easy. It's ready made. It's right here. You'll have somebody from the West Coast. You'll have somebody from up north. You'll have somebody down here. We're blessed and fortunate to be able to do this. And that's what keeps the platform kind of rolling, to be perfectly
Right.
fair, is the constant giving back. I think when you start looking at things for like what can it do for me, then that's when
Mhm.
you're already on the losing track of things. It's like I tell podcasters when they hit me up, how do I become successful? Well, what do you believe in? Do you believe in your product? Do you believe in what you're doing? Is your heart in the right place? Or are
Mhm.
you doing this for clicks? Because either
Yeah.
which way, you need to be honest with yourself about why you're doing it to begin with. And if you can be honest with yourself about it, and if it is for clicks and you are okay with that, well, then do it. No
Yeah.
one's telling you not to, but don't be surprised if it's not successful or as successful if you are doing something because you legitimately are interested and want to do it.
Right.
Changes the perspective the whole way around. Because people see through fake all the fucking time. Somebody tunes in. If we weren't authentic as we are and people tuned in, they would probably tune right the fuck back out. For not
Yeah.
being real. You know,
Right.
we're fortunate enough to be able to work with the National Wrestling Alliance and work with people attached to the National Wrestling. You mentioned DC3, and I went, I know what that cost. I was
Yeah.
like, I already know. I was like,
Yeah.
we're working with Mims. He's doing a lot of stuff with us this year, and some other folks with the NWA are going to be doing some stuff down the line. It's just and to me, putting him in a locker room with other guys in a local market. What if he sees somebody that he
Right.
sees potential in, and he goes back to Corrigan and company, says, give this guy a look. Again, you just got to be right place, right time, seen by the right person. There's so many things
Right.
that can happen if you just give back. Give it back.
Yeah.
If our
Yeah.
shit goes away tomorrow, am I going to be hurt? No, because I'm still going to do this, whether one person watched or no person's watched. Period.
Right.
I enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
that, and that should be like the kind of moral of this conversation and episode is if you enjoy something and you're passionate about something, don't let anything stand in your way. Just get
Right.
it done. Like that's all you got to do is focus on it and get it done.
Right.
Everybody goes through shit all the time. Everybody does. It's all about how you pick yourself up and how you handle yourself moving forward that determines your future. I don't live in the past. If I lived in the past, I'd be strung out right now. I'd rather not
Right.
do that. I'd rather acknowledge the fact that I made mistakes. I would rather acknowledge the fact that I was not a good person. And I would rather acknowledge the fact that, you know, shit fucking happened.
Yep.
But that was my wake up call. If that's not going to dictate who I am now, it's not going to dictate who I am in the future. Because I'm very comfortable with who I am. I'm very comfortable in the positions that I take, and I'm very comfortable with just being my authentic self. And that should really be the bottom line. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you went through and how you went through it. Again, when we have these conversations, they're really the first conversations are just surface scratchers. They're just
Right.
let's get to know each other a little bit.
Totally agree. Yeah.
I don't know what you went through. Don't know what it was. We didn't get into all that. But you had two options. You could have let it defeat you, or you could have gotten the fuck up.
Yeah.
And all you had to do is get the fuck up, and you did. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen with everybody. Not everybody is able to get up when they are knocked the fuck down and battling things and battling whatever it is. You did. So that in itself is a success story. Period. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what anybody else has to say. Doesn't matter what anybody else has to do. Doesn't matter what anybody else has to think about it. You aren't the person that you were when you
Right.
were. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that all that comes with time, and I do have a couple more questions for you because I want to get your answers to these for sure because these are my questions that I can actually fucking help you with and not hinder you with. So the first one I got for you as we start winding things down, and just from a guy who watches indie wrestling all over the world, every continent, we're on every continent. It's just incredible, and being able to cast as wide a net as we do. Now that you're working again and you're back in the ring, where are some places that if you could get out there and get an opportunity at company wise, where would you go? Where would you like to go?
Man, I'd love to work with GCW. Like I can keep up. I can work that kind of style. That's a really dope spot that I've seen some of my good friends. One of my best friends is Eli Everfly. He's been like a main staple there at GCW. I want to work with House of Glory. Red and I go way back. This last show in LA, I was like that close to getting on, but they were like, Onyx, we were giving him a going away present because he moved to LA, so we're gonna put him in there. So maybe next time, I'm like, damn it. That
Uh-huh.
would have been awesome. But like just getting out of Cali, like I want to go to Texas. I got family out there I've never met. Europe, Japan. Like I want to see the world. Like and just continue honing my craft and just showing everybody that I can go just as good as anybody that came before me. Like I started with the Bucks. I can keep that kind of frantic pace, or I can slow it down and work like a very like character based style. I can do comedy. I just want to get better, man. I just want to grow and just spread that love.
Well, in the same vein, there's some people that you want to work with.
Mustafa Ali is a big one. I
He was
think
just
I've
out
been.
there.
I know. I'm blessed that I've been able to work a lot of guys like and cross them off. I'd love to work with Red and Jack Evans again. There's just so many good guys on the scene that are absolutely killing it. Of course, we love to work with Riddle again. Austin Aries would be a cool one. A lot of the older guys that I grew up watching that are still around and can still get one or two in, like as the vegan Superman working Luigi Primo would be funny. Like we could do a lot of I could be very against the pizzas, like there's a lot out there that I can do character work, comedy or whatever, man. I just love the entertainment. I've gotten into movies recently, so like acting. So I love all of this stuff.
It's funny you mentioned Luigi. One of my employees today, literally today, sent me a Facebook reel of Luigi doing a pizza dough punch at
Oh, with
somebody, and
Mikey.
I have not seen him live, but I've seen
Oh,
Luigi several times across our screens, and what was funny about it wasn't the fact that it was a Luigi clip; it was the fact that my my employee, he's not a big wrestling guy
right.
and has started doing some filming well for our live events. He's one of my cameramen actually. So he
Okay.
has started doing some filming of wrestling, and I guess it started coming across his timeline. It was the first time that he had ever seen it. So he sent it
Oh,
to
okay.
me and then physically came to my office. He was out in the field and physically came to my office just to make sure I saw it today. It happened today. He was like, "Did you
Oh,
see that?"
dang.
And I was
Okay.
like, "Yes, bud. I know who that is. I've seen him in Florida before. I know he's worked in Florida." So, yeah, it's like that's cool as shit. And I was like, "Is that real dough?" And I was like, "Yes, yes,
Yes.
it is." Oh, I gotta see that. All right, man. We'll work it out. So, all right, we've touched a little bit on this, and maybe answers may be the same as from earlier in the show, but just for me being able to ask it, some people that we should be watching. Who are some folks that are on the radar out there that or could be anybody over the 20 plus years of your career, people you've been in the ring with, people that are out there that need to get some spotlight put on them.
Yeah, one of the guys. I mean, I've thrown his name out there like 50 times. Amazing Red is having like a big renaissance. He's going around and wrestling like Andrade, and then he's wrestling Bandito over at WrestleMania weekend. So like he is having a total resurgence, and he's better than ever. Life Danger tag team out here
Mm-hmm.
are freaking awesome. Just total 20-year-old fit studs, really cool, down to earth guys with a gimmick. Yeah, Oscar Felix. I mean, there's just the talent out here in SoCal is just next level. Danny Limelight, he's starting to get some love. Him and Slice Boogie as a team are just freaking awesome. Yeah, I mean, Krusty Crew, that's a really great tag team. A lot of the guys coming out of Santino's, Kid Destino, um, Brave Wolf, Billy Brave Wolf is killing it. Hoss Hogg is a guy that's been around for a long time, 6'5" monster cowboy. That guy needs some love. So there's Eli Everfly, of course. His wife Delilah Doom. So many people, man. I could talk all day about the talent out here. Honest John, you know. Quincy Elliott that was released from NXT is wrestling out here is Trinell. And I don't know. I saw this video saying he's one of the worst wrestlers to come out of the WWE. And throughout the video, they're talking about how much he's improved. And by the end, the guy's like, actually, he did get a lot better. I was like, what the hell? This is totally clickbait, bro. Like, this guy's good.
So you admit there's several names that you threw out there that I are on my radar. I actually had Livewire Charlie on last Friday night, and I had Danger Ross on a couple months ago, probably 6-7 weeks ago. I love those cats, man. I this is why I love professional wrestling, is because I don't ever know what I'm going to see. Right. So with all no context, usually when we put something up, unless it's with an affiliate or someone that we're really working closely with, like a Primal and an MPW as an example here in the States. So on a random Primal show, he was facing Jeremiah Fresh. And when Livewire Charlie came out of the curtain, I was watching with one of my co-hosts in Texas. And it was both of our first time watches. And I told Charlie this Friday night. I was like, I was impressed when you came out through the curtain because I immediately got 80s throwback vibes. And I'm an 80s child. So to me, I haven't even seen you in the ring yet, and you've already drawn me in just on your presentation. When he got in the ring and he started working, he can go. And I was like, all right, I already told JB, I was like, we got to see this. We got to see more of this guy. So then the commentating team says, oh, by the way, he's one half of Live Danger. Well, I've never heard of Live Danger at that point. So as soon as we finished the show and the stream, what did I do? Live Danger. Yeah. Pulled the match up and I started watching it. And I forget who it was against. It may have been, it wasn't against Krusty Crew. Krusty Crew's on my radar too, by the way.
Yeah.
I forget who it was against. But the match was fucking fantastic. It was great. Yeah. Fucking Danger starts bench pressing this guy 20 times. And I'm just like here for it. And it's just done. I'm already a big fan of Live Danger and what they've got going on. I think that those guys are studs. They've already gotten some looks, and I think that like I told Charlie, your deal is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You're so fucking young, you know. Yeah. Here's the scary thing about the younger generation of professional wrestlers. And I tell all the kids this when they come on, especially those that I know. Man, it's there. Some of these kids are 21, 22, 23, 20, early 20s, mid 20s. The longevity of professional wrestling now versus what it was when I got into the scene is drastically changed because people are taking much better care of themselves. They're able to go longer in age. Yeah. The prime of professional wrestling in my day was like, 29 to 36 ish, right? We're talking mid 90s, early 2000s. Could have been a little bit more. Could have been maybe 40, give or take. Yeah. Fucking prime now, 35 to 45, you take good care of yourself. Yep. Yeah. So I tell these kids, especially these early 20s, you're so good now. Where the fuck do you think you're going to be in the next 10 to 20 years? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's a scary fucking thought. Yeah. I was like, that's your mind-blowing thought right there, guys. There you go. Because it's real. These guys are the future, and that's kind of like the channel itself. I want to invest in the future. The future is what's going to entertain me for the next 20 years while I do this shit. So I want to be in now, because if we get in on the ground floor, we're going to be with them the entire ride, and they won't forget. That's the bottom line. So let me ask you this, man. Actually, not really ask you this. I always turn it over to my guest as we get ready to wind things down. So anything that you want to talk about, anything you want to throw out there, anything you want to plug, by all means, man, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just go ahead and check me out on Enoch_the_enlightened on Instagram. Check out VWC Wrestling. Check out West Coast Wrestling Company. Check out Best of the West. Check out East Los Lucha. A lot of companies, Circle 6, a lot of guys that I work with quite often. Check out Celebrity Death Snatch. That's a new company that's they've done one show. All their shows are burlesque wrestling with wrestling in between. Yeah. And all the matches are like celebrity themed. So I mean, I'm gonna be Fred Durst and I'm wrestling Scott Stapp, and it's it's 2000s MTV Spring Break themed. So there's like a boy band battle royal and all this stuff. So they're a whole hell of a lot of fun.
I was talking to Charlie about that, and I like the concept. I truly
Yeah.
do. That's one that I'd have to hop a plane for at some point. I'd have to work that out and get on. I got to see that in person. That's not one that I can just say, haha, that sounds great. As an 80s guy and an early 90s child, nah, man, I got to be there. That's one of those that I got to make a trip for. And that's something else too, dude. Like I didn't, again, expect to be making all these different trips everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm now, from a guy who walked away literally 20 years ago this year. What's fucking here's what's fucking nuts. Walking away 20 years ago, on my birthday 20 years ago, it's in September.
Damn.
I'm getting back into the ring 21 years and 3 days after I walked out.
Damn.
So it was enough. Done. Did the math. I just did that right now in my head. I was like, ooh. So 21 years and 3 days is what it'll be. And I don't know, man, if I do it. I'm still on the fence about it, but it will be, the first match back is in Los Angeles and scheduled to be in Los Angeles in September.
Okay.
I don't know how good it's going to be. I'm getting back in the ring in April. To do some open ring stuff, and we're going to see where the cards fall. I've had a blast, man, sitting down and just chatting with you here for the last hour or so. And, hopefully, like I said earlier, these are really surface scratchers, to be perfectly fair. And I hope you had a good time. And down the line, we can set up another show and get you come back on, and let's do some circling around and catching up and seeing what's going on down in your neck of the woods, man.
Definitely, man. Yeah, let me know when you're going to be out here, too. I'd love to come support on the 28th. I have Best of the West, so I won't be able to make it to that one, but definitely let me know for the next time. I'd love to actually link up in person and chat a bit.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll let you know. I'm finalized. It's supposed to be the 26th of September. It's supposed to be is the return date. Is what we're looking at, and it's 90% returned. All right. We're gonna find out for sure here in a couple of weeks. I think for me, it's difficult because I'm not there, so I can't market it the way I want to. I can't get there, be out there, and put feet on the ground and get flyers and shit out and go and do my own shit. But I do have a really good team of people who have distributed a lot of flyers. Hopefully, we have a good crowd that comes out, because I do think we got a good show planned. I think that the talent involved are really a bunch of guys that, as I say, you should be watching. So that's the name of the game.
Very talented. Yep.
And side note, Live Danger is tentatively scheduled to be on the return show. That's already a done
Heck
deal.
Yeah.
So, guys, I appreciate everybody who stopped by and who joined us here this evening across all of our platforms on Twitch, on YouTube, and over on X. It's been on the screen the entire show. The easiest way that you can show your support is by sharing, and subscribing. It's free. It costs you nothing in this case. And he's already given you the name, and it's been on right underneath him the entire show. I'm going to botch it, so I'm just going to spell it. ENOCH_the_enlightened is where you need to go to hit that follow button and show your support. It only takes one. And then share the stuff, man. If you're not following our platforms, shame on you. I don't know why you're even here if you're not already following us and what we've got going on. Lots of things are happening, guys, for here on the channel. Chapter 3 is on March 28th in Southern California. Chapter 4 is April the 25th in Orlando, Florida. And Chapter 5 announced today in collaboration with One Division Pro, May the 16th in Orlando, Florida. And get ready, guys, because it's going to be an incredible fucking show. For my guest today, Mr. Jorel, I am Chris Page, and we will see you next time.